Commercial break.
I always love the people who watch on camera.
We'll move on.
It's just probably think we yell at each other.
We're having a really good debate that has nothing to do with us, but we're not going to. It's not for air. The point is, lottery day. Here's my question. Now, hour number one, I already told you. To me, it's Wembanyama or nothing. I don't want to hear about Scoot Henderson. I don't want to hear about Brandon Miller, Amon Johnson. I don't want to hear about none of it. This, to me, is a lot like the 1997 draft. It's Tim Duncan and then a bunch of stuff I don't want. The Pistons, the only paradigm shift, the only seismic change, the only pathway is to get Victor Wembanyama. And if you don't, I don't want to use the pick. Straight up. And if I do use it, understand you're going to have to move one of your players. I don't want Brandon Miller. If I got the number 2 pick, I would take Scoot Henderson based on explosive athlete. Physically ready to roll, 2 years younger than Miller, no off-court nonsense. He can't shoot, but I'll take a risk. But here's my point to you. If you don't get the number 2 pick and you get number 3, there's no way I'm using the pick. So here's my question to you. If you win, because I'll try to keep it positive, if you win the lottery, I look at someone like Kenny Cott. Kenny's not a big basketball fan. That's no big deal. I'm not a huge hockey guy. I try to get involved with the playoffs or if my team's good, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you on Tuesday night that I'm watching NHL Tonight, which would be difficult because that show hasn't been on the air in 20 years. But Butcher Gross and Chicken Parm.
Bring it back.
But my point is, I wonder if landing Wembanyama actually has the impact that I think it could have. Did you see the story about Connor Bedard in Chicago?
Yeah.
The Blackhawks, the first 24 hours of Connor Bedard's existence, not even in the jersey yet, but they won the lottery, sold $3 million in season tickets. Mm-hmm. And I started thinking about if Wembanyama comes here, do people like Kenny? Not basketball haters, but if you're a sports fan, you like to go out and have a good time. You like to go out and have a couple of beers. You like to watch sports. Would Wembanyama as a Piston make the Pistons the number 2 in this town? I mean, let's face it. Tigers have no draw. The Red Wings, God love them, but Kenny, you know this, as a hockey team, unless you're in the playoffs or in the finals, or you had a Connor Bedard, it's just not there. And the Lions will forever be number 1. I think Wembanyama comes in, all of a sudden Kenny Cott's going to a couple of Pistons games.
If Wembanyama comes here, you know what's going to happen, Mike, is...
You have season tickets.
No, but everybody who drove way out 50 minutes to the Palace of Auburn Hills, which is nowhere near anything, that place used to be packed. They're all of a sudden going to get interest back in the Pistons. They're going to drive downtown, and you will see actual sellout crowds. Not the fake sellout crowds that they had.
Not piped-in noise.
Right. You're going to see actual sellout crowds, and it's not because Steph's in town. It's not because LeBron's in town. It's because people want to see who this guy is, right, and can he make the Pistons that team?
If you're just joining and you don't follow basketball, let me explain what's on the line tonight. It's Tim Duncan. It's LeBron James. It's Unibrow. It's Zion. All right? Wembanyama is allegedly that guy. You get him, I think at some point you become the epicenter of basketball again. You don't get him, I think you're still wandering in the woods, nude, in the dark, no flashlight. And wondering what you just stepped in. So it's just that's, if you disagree with that, I'd love to hear your end of it. But the other side is, guys, if you're a fringe basketball person, would the Pistons winning the lottery bring you back? There was a time they were the toughest ticket in town.
Yep.
Standing room tickets were $90 almost 20 years ago. Guys, people want captivating theater. It's what sports is. I would watch more Red Wing games, not because all of a sudden I'm calling hockey jerseys sweaters. It's because they had Connor Bedard.
Right. But think about it. $90 standing room only tickets. And you still had to drive way out there.
Correct.
To the Palace. That's how big of a draw that this team was. That they had that sellout record. People, spoiler alert, it used to be actual people in the seats and not artificial sellouts.
Also true.
where, the thunder sticks and all of that. It was a fun atmosphere.
What about
to go
Sheila
to.
E. and her drums?
I was there that night.
How sad. 248-539-9797. Kenny, now I didn't want to put words in your mouth. I'm asking. If they won the lottery tonight, are they back on your radar?
Absolutely, they're back on the radar.
All right, so I'm not crazy.
No, it's not going to be appointment viewing for me being a fringe fan of the sport. But yeah, if they're on, I'm going to tune in. That's a definite. It's a draw. I'd even might find myself down at LCA for some of the games if that were the case.
And here's my point for everybody. And Kenny, okay, good. I'm glad I wasn't like being unfair. It just, guys, we'll do this two ways. A, if you agree or disagree, we can battle this out. I will absolutely.
What? You can't get it.
Okay. I will die on this hill. David's hitting buttons. Roberto's hitting buttons. I don't know what's happening. Here's the deal. If you want to battle this out, you want to tell me I'm being hyperbolic, you want to tell me it's not fair, that there is a brighter day if they don't win the lottery, go ahead. Let's fight. Because I'm telling you, if you don't get Wembanyama, the franchise is headed nowhere. Period. And I've given you what the viewpoint on the other players is. You get Wembanyama, and now you have Ivy, Cade, and a 7'4" unicorn who shoots threes, puts it on the deck, rebounds, block shots, deployable warhead. It's chaos. It's basketball chaos. It would cover up all of Troy Weaver's sins. So,
you know what it would do? It would buy him time. It would allow him to actually go out and get a coach. It would get people off of his back because everybody would get caught up in Wembanyama. And at this point, Troy probably gets 2 years where nobody really says anything.
Yeah, because no one cares. Like, you're right. Look, it changes the way you're viewed. It changes the way the team is covered. It gets fringe people down to the arena. Mm-hmm. It makes people want to watch. I admit it selfishly, getting Wembanyama, it allows us to have something to talk about. Mm-hmm. Like, that's part one, 248-539-9797. The other angle of it is straight up. Do you think I'm missing the boat on what it means? Guys, the Blackhawks sold $3 million in tickets for Connor Bedard. I mean, LCA is a palace compared to United Center. And United Center ain't no great shakes to go to either, all right?
No, it is out in the middle of nowhere as well. Seriously.
Not ideal.
Right across the street is a check cashing place.
Oh, Jordan frequented.
I honestly, I wonder how many Bulls players actually cash checks over there. Not even exaggerating. It's a liquor store check cashing place right across the street.
Not many if you want to stay safe.
Right.
So the point I'm making is if the Blackhawks got that kind of bump from a hockey player, that's what it is, guys. What do you think happens for a global sport like the NBA and you get this global iconic player? Guys, I feel like the Pistons would be all the way back from an attention standpoint. 248-539-9797. Now, listen, if you want to talk breakfast sandwiches, blow it out your ass. I'm not doing it. This is the lottery. This is the one time we get to do this. So I've given you multiple pathways. And I'm down to go to war. If you want to try to sell me the fanboy Brighter Days storybook that if you don't get Wembanyama tonight, it's going to be all right. Because it's not going to be all right.
You give Wembanyama, and the NBA will do to you what the NFL just did to the Lions.
Yes.
We're going to show you how relevant you are. You're going to be playing opening night main stage.
Wembanyama Christmas Day?
Christmas Day game. Now, it may be the first game at noon, but you don't care.
And it'll be played in the parking lot of Greater Life. Wembanyama live from Tyerman Avenue.
I thought it was going to be at St. Cecilia. But
yes, quarter zips for all.
But yeah, you get Wembanyama, they're putting you on because he's global. People want to see him. It's not just a Detroit thing. It's an everybody thing because everybody's heard the buzz about this kid, that he is this generational thing. So as happy as you are because the Lions have so many primetime games, the Pistons will now become a draw where you're going to see them being talked about with Shaq and Chuck and Ernie and all of these guys will be talking Pistons.
The problem is I feel like there's no way the league would allow it.
I think the league would.
No, I know. I know what people are going to say.
Oh,
my
to the
God.
Ewing Cole card.
Yeah, the frozen envelope. Okay. I know. I know it's random and they allegedly have people in there watching. It's hard for me because I look at the NBA and I feel like, no, they don't step in every year. But once a decade when they got to put like, for instance, the Cavs just happen to get a generational player for a dead franchise who grew up down the street in 03. Oh, the year he leaves, they get the number 1 pick again as a make good. Oh, New Orleans is about to fold as an organization. They can't find a buyer. Oh.
Well, they did. Oh, Orlando. This is going to be the basketball center of the universe. We're going to give you a number 1 pick.
Right.
But see, here's that point makes me think maybe they will get Wembanyama because he's 7'4". So you don't know, as you've stated, is he still growing? Is he, just in case he falls apart, let's give him to Detroit.
No.
And see what Detroit does with him.
And
if he fails, we blame it on Detroit.
Perfect. Yeah, it's actually the running cover for Scoot Henderson. He's going to be
Right.
6'2" Michael Jordan. No, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I know in my heart it's probably not the case. I know that the team with the worst record has never won this new wave lottery. Pistons had the worst record. I feel like he's destined for Houston. A massive market.
You know what? I'm not even going to put negative words out there. He's going to be a Piston.
Well, David won't put positive ones out there.
Going to San Antonio.
No, they get both generational big men. They get
Yes.
Tim Duncan, and then what? The 25th anniversary is going to be
Yes.
this?
You have to remember, Greg Popovich has stepped down to be the coach after they got the number 1 pick. He's going to go and retire after this, and they're going to leave him with the number 1 pick.
Becky?
Yeah, Becky.
Well,
yes.
she's serving a 2-game suspension, so she's got time.
Coach.
Honestly, Evan and I were talking about it pre-show. I wish the Pistons would at least bring her in for an interview. Give it a shot.
The candidates that they're bringing in.
I'm wholly uninspired by who they're interviewing.
There's no creativity.
It just kind of reeks of you're not really trying. I mean, honestly, I'd be better off if Weaver was like, yeah, I'm hiring my son. Okay, at least I would understand it. Nepotism always wins.
Okay, I'm out.